Welcome, teenies new and old, to Wits and Crits, a roundtable Q&A style podcast hosted by me, your dice goblin and resident vanilla guard boy loving ship gremlin, Hayden Davio. I'm the player for Theodore Flores, Aviana Kolesh, Regan Alis, and Fianula Ione. For those of you who are finding us for the first time, hi, hello, we are Nat 19. We're a group of actors, performers, and improvisers who have come together through our love of storytelling and mutual nerdery. Today on the show, I have Justice Washington and Logan Laidlaw. Welcome back to the show. Good to have you guys on. Thank you for making time to be here.
Hello.
I'm not going to be able to keep up with that energy today.
That's
I appreciate that you be everything I can't be.
Listen, man, I'm perpetually running on I almost called my coffee my speed juice this morning. I'm like, that's
not the speed juice.
It's my zoom juice. I'm perpetually
My go-go-goo.
caffeinated. My go-go-goo. That sounds terrible. Anyway,
It sounds horrible.
we're off to a great start. Anyway, introduce your fine selves. We'll start with Justice.
Hi, I'm Justice Washington. I play Scarn in Gilligan's Grave. That's about it.
Super talented voice actor and a wonderful streamer.
Yeah, I do voice acting and I do streaming, but yeah, that's about it.
Talented. Soup's
Way to
talented.
downplay.
I know, right?
He's also a filthy cartoon man.
Yes, the truth.
Oh, there he goes, tweening.
Oh my God.
That's messed up. It's waiting.
We also have the one, the only Logan Laidlaw. Introduce your fine self. Act as if people don't know who you are.
All right. Hi, I'm Logan Laidlaw. I'm the creative director of Nat 19, and I write, at this point, all of its books.
Mm-hmm.
I run Project Mouthwash. I am a voice actor for anime and video games and cartoons. I play Agisai, and I played Hadrick, and people won't let me forget that I played Hadrick, even though that could fall into obscurity and be fine. And I am the GM of Gilligan's Grave and Vestige and other such things, and I'm the unofficial spokesman of the Red Bull. They just don't know that. And I can't wait till they realize it, and they send me all the checks that they've owed me for the past 6 years of my service.
I need you to get, a collaboration deal with Red Bull, like how Aaron Hansen got to do, a collab with fucking Wendy's. I'm like, I need you
My
to...
God.
I need that.
I would fucking die.
Just have, your icon be, in the Red Bull style, but it's a capybara with wings and stuff.
Oh! Capybara gives you wings!
Yeah, baby. I know what's up.
And that's who I am. And I'm not a
who you are.
cartoon for anybody. I'm the superior being. I'm a realistically rendered capybara. Although not in this. I guess I'm in my humanoid. I have a capybara on my shoulder, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do. Okay, new headcanon.
Because you specifically
I've never been
asked
the
for
man.
it.
I've never been the man. In Wits and Crits, I've been the capybara on the man's shoulder. This man is merely how I arrive in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Ignore the fact that the man's mouth is the one moving and not the capybara.
I'm a ventriloquist capybara.
You know what? If I ever were able to get an updated
Man.
version of your sprite, I should have the capybara's mouth move.
Watch this. It's convincing. I'm a man. Man. See, I'm really good at it.
It's very, very convincing. So anyway, for those of you who have not watched our show for the first time or need a refresher, how this works is I've got questions for these lovely, lovely boys here. And I'm going to roll a d4 to determine who I'm asking a question for, and roll a secondary dice to determine which question. So we're going to roll this d4 in my little dice tower, and I'm going to go boo-doo-doo-doo-doo because making noises makes me happy. So it's going to be for Seggy.
Huh.
And so
Okay.
we're gonna start off strong here.
Yeah, I knew it was happening, Abby.
Really light emotional energy here, which really, Gilligan's Grave is a very light campaign. There's no tragedy at all.
It's very funny.
With recent events in Gilligan's Grave, what are some things that Scarn regrets, and what are some things that he wished he had realized sooner?
Okay, first off, Scarn should have made a gun.
Fake gun.
just fate gun. That's it. Now it fires 30 shots. That could go.
Fate semi-automatic machine gun.
No, but
I'm gonna roll a d20 for 30 individual targets. We'll pick the one I want.
It's like, all right. But on the serious, at the moment, definite shock, you know. But he's kind of regretting the fact that he wasn't just there. Scarn, at this point, this is the first time he's actually gone out doing stuff for a while, not away from the family for like an extended period of time. You know, Scarn wants to go do things, be a person, you know, yeah, all this. Oh, wait. The one time that I'm gone, everything goes to crazy, even though I'm like within the area. Huh. So it's my fault. And this is going to become a deep part of Scarn because, in the mental right now, Scarn has finally hit a personal, it's my fault. Because had he been around, dads wouldn't be dead. And that's just one.
I don't know how caught up you are, Hayden.
I found out about that through the questions, and I went, oh, goddamn. I don't really care about getting spoiled for Gilligan's Grave because I run this show.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm pretty behind. I haven't listened in a while. But damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found out about that today.
No, it's fun. I feel like in the overarching Scarn story here, at least in my mental, depression has come.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a fun one.
As
lot of
someone who plays a lot of sad characters, I get that.
Mm-hmm. There's gonna be a lot of I did this. Cool. Because like if the story wise, let's be real, in his mental, he's probably thinking, oh, if I just wasn't here, none of this would be a problem.
Oh. God, bud. That's a tough one. So it's like that's what he regrets, and I'm gonna tug on the second part of the question here. What are some of the things that he like wished he realized sooner? Whether that is like about recent events or just things in his life.
I think at least in my mind, Scarn has always felt outsidery, and the fact that he is completely at the center of this is bewildering for him. Mm-hmm. He's not used to this. So like realizing sooner that, oh no, I can't just sit on the sidelines and be like, you know what? This is an experience that I'm just going to experience life and do things and go out. No, unfortunately, you can't. So realizing sooner that he was a central part of this would have probably helped him not be in positions where he is now, honestly.
Were there signs? Because
plenty.
Again, I'm pretty behind. Like,
plenty.
Plenty of signs. And did he just kind of ignore them, or was he just not actively putting them together? What was kind of Scarn's process with that?
Kind of both. More of an ignoring, but also a side of like, hey, it's no way it's me. Come on, man. There's a big denial in Scarn, especially from the fact of, hey, buddy, why would it be me? There's no reason for the giant guy that's different from everybody to be the central portion of some weird plot. No. Right?
No.
Right?
Baby.
Take that to an extreme level of denial where, like, when you go to speak, when you guys go to speak to the remains of the former incarnation of Gotham, and it very directly is like, you will be the next incarnation of Gotham.
Yeah, I don't care.
Just like a pause and just, nah, no way.
Ain't no way. Come on.
Someone else. No. Nah, you shall be covered its mouth. No,
No,
buddy,
no.
Sorry.
No, you read the wrong script. Look, let me write it down.
Write that down.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. I've never seen this man before in my life.
I've definitely never seen this man before. Your father? No, who? My No, my father is a cappy. Okay. Okay.
Things are bad for Scarn.
They are.
Even the DM's like,
Genuinely, not to cut in or anything, the things that happened over the last couple sessions, like, I'm very committed to, if players stop a thing from happening, they stop it from happening. I'm not.
Yeah.
People can ruin my plans. But I foreshadowed the fact that Muntheris, like, took an interest in your family, and I knew where it would go because I know the kind of insane that I wrote her to be on account of me writing her.
Easily.
And when I was figuring out what her path was going to be with Scarn and what she was going to do to begin, in her mind, trying to convince him to see things her way, because in her mind, she's being very convincing. The things she's doing to her, she's showing the same things that made her realize why undeath is the way to go and why Gotham's good. She doesn't get why it's not working, because she can't fathom why you wouldn't think the way she does. But that aside, when I realized the steps she was going to take, I did, as a GM, have a moment where I was like, should I maybe editorialize a bit? Because this is actually kind of dark. And then I decided not to, because it's the kind of story that we're doing. Yeah. But I did, it's very rare for me, but I did have a moment of being like, this might really hurt. And maybe I shouldn't. But then I was like, I think, though, that it's right for what we're doing. And, you know, things have stakes, and I think it's dramatic and whatnot. But it's very rare that I have to look at what a character is going to do logically, like an NPC like Muntheris, and me as the GM be like, should I maybe hand of God them in a slightly different direction? Because, ow. Scarn's heart. But I mean, then I didn't.
Oh no, I've seen this coming from, honestly, much earlier. I'm not even gonna lie. Because I don't know, maybe I'm just a tragic story, like, brain person, but, like, that man was dying from the first moment I saw him. No! You can't give big man, soft, plushy father and not expect soft, plushy father to be thrown across the room into a wall and blood puddle. Come on!
It's true. It's true.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, Muntheris wants
honestly.
Muntheris wants to win over Scarn and wants to be like, you should become the incarnation of Gotham, because then you could have everyone together. Here, let me prove my point. There, I killed your father in front of you. See? Don't you get it? Don't you see? It's fucking Muntheris just has, like, graphs behind her that have, like, gibberish written. Don't you see? Look! It all makes sense when you think about it this way. Fucking...
Yeah.
Your father is dead, so if you do the thing that would make me happy, you'll be good. Don't you get it? Life is dumb is the point. Don't you get it? Just shakes him by the head. Don't you understand? Don't you understand?
Oh boy. I can't wait to catch up. I'm gonna cry.
I saw, just before we move on, I saw somebody in, I can't remember at this moment who it was, but somebody in the players spoilers chat, the one that the players can't see, was like, oh, she did it. Fucking Muntheris is crazy, outweighed my simpness for her. The power of boobs is gone. I hate her more than I think she's hot. And I was like, yes! Objective complete!
You're like, I did it!
She is the most destructively deranged NPC I think I've ever put into something, and I'm like, good. I've made people scared of her in spite of how hot she is.
Oh no, it's not fear. It's not fear. It's now now you're not hot, so you don't exist anymore.
Also good. Heck yeah.
You could have been cool and hot. Now I hate you.
Instead, you're just ultimate yandere.
Yep.
I'm very happy with Moonterrace so far. But I digress. I've cut into this question twice. I'm sorry.
All good. Well, we've answered it, so I'm gonna move on. Oh, it's for both of yous.
Oh.
So speaking of Scarnicus Barnicus, what for both of you? What was the process of creating Scarn and his backstory? Like, what was that process like?
I'm be real with you. I said he was a rock man. That's about it.
I like to think that's how you entered the call. Like, Logan's like, all right, great. So what kind of character do you want to play? And you're like, I want to play a rock man.
I'll play a rock man.
Yeah. Scarn, so a big theme of Gilligan's Grave is that I spent a very long time establishing the things that were like comfortable for the players, because unlike a lot of adventures in D&D where like you're like, yeah, I'm from this faraway town and my parents are either dead or we don't talk about them or see them. One of the big things I wanted to focus on with this campaign was showing everybody's normal everyday lives and showing how important family and routine was to them, because the point was always that the cult was going to destroy those things. And with Scarn, I very much, I think a lot of our early building was me just being like, who's your family? What's your family like? And you were like, I was adopted by capybaras.
I'm adopted by capybaras.
And I was like, that's amazing.
That is like, I didn't want him to have like, yes, he's just normal, got everything going for it. Like, there's got to be something in the back end to just be like, he's kind of the different guy. Not like an outsider. I don't want him to be like hated by everybody, but like people know him, but they know him because they see him, you know?
Yep. Walking head and shoulders above everybody else in this primarily halfling gnome and Capiato town.
Exactly.
Yeah, so whenever I was working with Justice to make them, we focused a lot on that and a lot on his family and where he came from, and we went back and forth for a while on who his parents would be, and I came up with the lie I told Justice about like his family, the context of his family leaving him there.
Nice lie.
Yeah, it was technically true in
a way,
but the circumstances of it weren't.
Definitely
they were
different.
Here on vacation, didn't mean to have a kid and left you here was not what it ended up being. Heck, in the background, tying Scarn into the cult stuff, because when I was conceptualizing Gilligan's Grave, because it was, you know, we're in the past of Vestige. We've talked about Gilligan's Pit a lot. I was trying to figure out like where everybody would fit into the overarching stories that would eventually possibly lead to what we know happens in the pits, and having Scarn be like the possible answer to everything the cult is doing seemed like a really fun way to go. As a GM, it's a bit like squishy to talk about exactly where the ideas came and went, because obviously a lot of stuff in the cult changed as a reaction to what a bunch of players did, to choices Justice made, like, you know, how Ethicus exists, for example. Even though Ethicus hasn't appeared in the campaign, who he is fundamentally changed a bunch because of how I worked him into your story specifically. Because he would have been maybe something a little bit more Sephiroth-y if he'd just been left on his own. Not that he's not going to be Sephiroth-y. In fact, the way he's being built up is almost identical to Sephiroth.
It's pretty Sephiroth-y.
He's very Sephiroth-y. A name that you hear constantly, and you know he's around somewhere, but he hasn't shown up, even though everyone talks about him. But I do remember that among all the characters, I spent, I think, the most time among all the player characters figuring out Scarn's exact history, because it so directly ties into the cult and what they're doing. And a big moment that I was hoping would happen a certain way, and it did, is that the first ritual to incarnate Gotham, which happened in the Latch Temple when you guys were there, only didn't work because Scarn was there and confused the ritual. Because because it would have worked with Moontheris, but there was, another person suitable for it there, so the ritual went sideways. That happening needed Scarn to be there, so if Scarn wasn't what he was to the cult, the context of that whole ritual would have changed dramatically. Scarn was fun. I think the only real involvement I think that you had with your connection to the cult stuff was one time when I was like, "Hey, is it okay if Scarn has a scar in his chest?" And you're like, "Sure."
Sure.
And then
why not?
As far as I remember, we didn't even play that. As far as actual Scar doesn't have the scar, but I asked the question basically as a way to be like, is it okay if something happened with his body? And that was, I think, the extent of my asking you about anything to do with what ended up being your connection to the cults. But yeah, for your edification, Hayden, Scarn has had a rib from the previous incarnation of Gotham, the god of undeath, had a rib from their body surgically implanted in his body when he was a baby.
Holy fuck!
To make him compatible with Gotham as an incarnation, because his father is trying to conquer death because he doesn't want to lose anyone he loves. So he wanted his son to eventually become a suitable host for the god of undeath so that he could escape the trappings of life and death. But then some stuff happened. And now that person is Moontheris. And now Moontheris is what Scarn was going to be. Except Scarn's still around, confusing the whole thing.
Well,
that kind of answered the question. Not really, but that
The thing is, it's always, with questions like this, it's always it was a collaborative effort. Yep. But you're saying, it's hey, can I do this to your character? It's yeah, I guess.
Yep.
That's something I picked up on very early, even when we were designing Aviana and things like that. It's there's certain design elements that I'm I don't know why Logan added that in, but I'm gonna think about it forever. But I'm
okay. I think this is the, now that I think about it, this might be I think that this is the second, maybe second and a half PC that I've been. By the way, you were a god science experiment. I think I can't pull this card again. Next campaign, I can't do this. But because technically Miriam was sort of the same thing, not even remotely in the same context, but Miriam was also made to be kind of a stand-in for Vestius. Avi wasn't a science experiment. Avi was more of the consequence of a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you mean by that?
I don't know. What do I mean by that?
Logan, I don't get to play here for another year and a bit.
You're not the one being interviewed here.
Logan!
Avi has nothing to do with what we're doing here today. Heckin'. But basically, as it is with a lot of GMs and a lot of stuff like this, it was, okay, cool, so we figured out your character's life. I'm now going to go away, and I have a little tome that you're not allowed to see. I'm going to do some work. I'll be back.
What do you mean?
Wait. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Looks
I said,
back.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it just looks back at you. All right. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, Gilligan's Grave, the main theme of the campaign is the comforts of normal life being stripped away or revealed to be something more sinister. With each of the reverends in the cult, the main antagonists, if you were to, be overly analytical about them, they each represent a similar trauma that one of the main characters has gone through in their life, except dealt with badly. They all have suffered a similar type of trauma or loss that the main characters have, except that the bad guys decided to deal with it in the worst possible, most obsessive ways, with Moontheris very directly paralleling Scarn and their relationship to family. So a lot of my work with all the players, broadly speaking, was to try to be like, what is your normal day-to-day life like? What makes you comfortable? Where do you live? What is the stuff you do? Which is why the early sessions of the game, I was so willing to be like, okay, so it's your morning. What do? You go to the bar, you talk to people. Oh, these are the people there. Cool. And your family's running around. They do stuff. It's cool to have family, isn't it? It's so nice to have these comforts. Oh, this feels like home. And I remember Katie contacted me because she watches it, and she was like, you've done such a good job making the game feel like so lived in. Like, this feels like everyone's homes. And I was like, yeah, it's
sure
super
does.
good that I've done that. I can't wait till I twist the knife on why.
You bitch. But it's great. I love it. I'm so here for it. You know I love a tragedy. Near games are my favorite, so let's fucking go.
Oh, take that, fucking Jonah.
The fuck? I said near games, not your games.
Oh, near.
I said near.
Oh.
Because I love a good tragedy.
We're still good, Jonah.
Damn.
Everyone's got their own way of doing things, and everyone's equally good in different ways. We're still good. We're the bros.
No,
Sorry, Jonah.
Hey, I know a DM's good when they make me cry. You, Aaron, and Jonah have all made me weep like a bitch, so. You know.
I'm so
Anyway,
tempted
I'm
to
gonna
text
ask another
Jonah and be like,
question.
we still good.
Yeah.
We still good, Jonah.
Logan, I got a question for you.
What's up?
Let's see, that's a... Okay, so we were talking a little bit about death and all that good shit, so it's a good question for that. The question reads, I believe it was mentioned in a previous Wits and Crits that souls pass on to whatever afterlife suits them best in Somnus Domina. If that is true, where would the third Hadisland triplet have gone after her body rotted away? Would she have gone to Gotham, as his influence is what killed her, or would she have gone to Chankaragash, as the triplet worshipped her at the time?
So interesting question.
I'm gonna throw that in the Wits and Crits chat.
She would have not to suck all the mystery out of the ask, but her soul would have gone to Chankaragash's domain because she was reverent of them through their life. They prayed to them. They were strictly a part of their religion. They lived by their tenets, and even as they were dying, they didn't forsake that. They continued to pray to Chankaragash. Regardless, in most cases, it doesn't really matter what kills you. Again, to expand on this, Hayden, just for your edification again, this rib thing, Ethicus, the main person who is the name behind most of what's going on in the campaign, they did the implanting a piece of the former Gotham Incarnation's body into the Hadisland triplets, which is Leuna, Muntheris, and the third sister. They did that to them as an experiment early on to see if it would take before doing it to their own kid. And then they lost their kid. They switched back to using them. And this process had a different effect on all of them. One of the sisters died. As the influence grew as they grew older, it killed them in a way that the magics of Chankaragash and their temple and whatnot, or anyone, couldn't fix. Because Gotham's influence was too strong and was rotting them away. So they were like a prototype for the same sort of thing that Muntheris and Scarn have successfully become, but it killed them. Despite the fact that killed them, it wouldn't change where they went. Gotham didn't have any hold on their soul, just on their body. So their soul would pass on to Chankaragash's divine realm, and they would be living out their time there. They would, not live. Well, yeah, technically living, because dead souls are technically, if we get really deep into it, which we shouldn't, being a petitioner, a dead soul in the afterlife, is technically just a different phase of life before you reincarnate. But, heckin', because they would say, because you die, you pass on to an afterlife, to a divine realm, you exist as a petitioner until you lose your sense of who you were. Your old life fades away, and then eventually when you die as a petitioner, you reincarnate again in the world of the living, quote unquote, as a new person, unless you reach total enlightenment, in which case you become something like an icon and you remain enlightened and happy in the afterlife forever as a big lion or whatever you become. But yeah, the answer to the question is Chan Karagash's Divine Realm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm about that.
Yeah. Not that
Hells yeah.
Leuna or Moontheris would really be able to interact with that fact. Because as far as Moontheris is concerned, Chan Karagash abandoned their sister. And by the time Moontheris would have enough information to know that that wasn't true, she was already so far off the deep end that realizing that didn't change how she had become.
It was like a situation where it's like, it's already too late.
Yeah, Moontheris dealt with the loss of her. Leuna dealt with the loss of her sister by becoming introverted and sort of burying everything and into her job. Moontheris dealt with the loss of her sister by emulating her and trying to hold on far too much to her and trying to find meaning in her death, which is we didn't see a lot of this in the game because it all happened like before the campaign, but she tried to latch on to trying to figure out why Chan Karagash's magic and like the temple couldn't save her and like why they would forsake her, and trying to look for meaning in everything that happened with her. And when eventually she realized that there was no meaning to any of it, she became immediately incredibly nihilistic. And then Ethicus exploited that whenever he realized what was going on and realized she was a success. Ethicus exploited that to be like, hey, you figured it out. Congratulations. Life and death have no meaning. However, those who exist eternally in undeath, those who can escape the bindings of life and death, they find meaning because they make it. And then she was like, that makes sense. And if I believe that, I can believe that my dead sister's irrelevant and I can stop hurting. So that sounds good to me. Her entire point of view is based on being like, you know what? If I write off everyone living and dead as unimportant, as misguided, I don't have to be sad. You're right. Living people are pointless. Everyone should be kind of undead. That way we can all be eternal and good. And anyone who doesn't accept that, I gotta kill them. It doesn't matter. You're better off dead anyways.
Holy shit.
But obviously that's one of those things where I was like, that transformation happened over years before the campaign even began. So you guys are just seeing the end of it. So thank God for Wits and Crits, so I can talk about it for 20 minutes.
That's why I have this show. So then we can yap. This is my Yapperoni show. It's true. I like to talk about D&D, so I made a show for it. And I like hearing my friends talk about Durandar, so again, hence show. But that's so interesting. Like the life and death just within like D&D is always so interesting to me. And especially like because we are in our own little pocket over in Somnus Domina, and we have like our own rules. It's always really interesting to me to like hear how everything plays out. And honestly, after Starclutch today, I'm probably gonna be listening to more Gilligan's Grateful Overcut Dice. That is my plan.
One big thing that I made like with Somnus Domina as of making the setting guide and whatnot is I wanted to make sure I codified things a lot more, because Forgotten Realms and whatnot leaves a lot of things up in the air, like what qualifies a god to be a god? What when you die, what actually happens to you? Why can you only bring somebody back to life within 100 years unless you use true resurrection? A big part of like my world building was trying to find answer to those questions, being like, here's the equation for what a god needs. They need to be tied to a divine realm and have control over domains in life, or domains in the world, and then they are a god. And everyone reincarnates. It's a cycle. There's a limited number of souls, which is why people like Gotham are, not good, because they're sort of removing them from that cycle. But death in D&D is always a bit nebulous, which is good sometimes. But I like to know how things work. So I wrote how they work. And now I know.
And now we know.
Because I made them.
Well, we're going to know something else. It's going to be from Segi. Because next question's for you, buddy. Let's see. Ooh. So. Ooh. Just to jump off of the topic we had just talked about. So this actually works out very well. So, with what happened to Scarn's Cappy Papa,
Cappy Daddy.
Does he have plans to kill his birth papa?
Oh no, that was gonna happen before the dad was dead. Eons before the dad was dead. Now it's just gonna happen harder.
Gotcha.
Now it's gonna
Makes
happen
sense.
with more vengeance, with more brutality, with more skill. You know?
A little more gusto there. What
You know?
would he do? Another part of the question is, what would he do if he encountered his birth mom as well?
Well, in my mind, birth mom's a victim too. All right, let's think about this. Ethicus, his whole plan here, have something to remake undeath. This man don't care about living. I don't even think he cares about my mama. He was like, "Hey, yo, let me find an elf real quick." Oh, because in my mind, don't say anything, God. In my mind, from context that I've seen, I'm assuming that the dark elf not dark elf, but Goliath that my mom was is just somebody who was not supposedly in the best of states because of how the other pit is, the one that we went through in our first adventure, where everybody was like, you did this, you asshole, because for some reason they know something about Scarn, even though Scarn doesn't know nothing. So I'm assuming they know something of Scarn's Scarnicusness that he don't know. I don't know how they're not affected by the whole mind whatever stuff, but like either of them, you know? So meeting mom would more be like, what happened? Why you do this? What did he do to you to make you do this? We will be victims together. Okay? Together. Now, if you were a part of this, I'm killing you just the same. You're gonna die. You're dying quick.
Together.
If you worked on this together, you're dying.
Fucking
Yeah, it's fair.
Fucking Rykard.
We will go to family therapy together.
Fucking. All right, Justice. What would you do if I told you that in the campaign you have met your mom?
Yeah, that makes sense.
What would you think I meant?
Dead. Somehow met through some kind of weird death, or somewhere at the college in some kind of other way, or you're fucking with me. But like, you know,
I could be fucking with you.
there's plenty of ways.
But yeah, maybe I'm throwing it out there. It's what if you, in a way, if I told you that maybe Scarn has already met their mom, and you've encountered them, and you've talked to them.
Good for them.
Good for them.
They ain't say nothing to me. They ain't say nothing to me. See. This is a two-way street. You gotta talk to me. All right, mama? You wanna have a conversation? You wanna have a family with us? Hey, I've been here this whole time.
I pull the most weird, the genes skipped a generation fucking thing, and it's like Lilia's mother.
What?
Their parent was actually a Goliath. The Goliath gene skipped the generation.
It's just like,
You and Lilia are half siblings.
It's like, what happened? What happened? Ah!
Oh, that'd be so wild, Insomnus. I mean, we don't think about it, but it'd be like, your father's an elf, and your mother is a dwarf, and you're a dragonkin because your grandfather was a copper dragonkin, and it was recessive dragon gene that skipped the generation. And his kid's tiny dragon child is looking at their parents, being with like no belief in their eyes.
Yeah.
Just being like, which one of you fucked a dragon?
It's like, it wasn't me, I swear. Like, we don't need to talk about that.
We don't need to say nothing about that.
You know, that's a fair reaction. I'm a roll a dice from bound. Well, since there are no more dual questions, you get to be in the hot seat again, Justice.
God freaking dang it.
Ooh, this is an actually genuinely light question. I'm not fucking with you this time. So, Scarn's anyway. Are there any other classes that you are eager to try now that you've had more time playing 5e on a regular basis?
Nah, I don't know. I can't tell, honestly, to be honest.
That's fair.
I haven't thought about that. I truly
don't think about the game that way.
I wouldn't know what to do with more stuff. That's the truth of the matter, because I hardly know what to do with my stuff I got right now.
Yeah.
Like having more
fair.
stuff would be like, okay, now I have analysis paralysis every single time I want to do something. And unless there is a murder everything with arc laser, I don't know.
Hey Logan, is Murder Everything with Arc Laser coming out in Zegalta's?
Yeah, I was about to say, actually, there's a technology cleric and a heckin' what's called the what was the exact name I gave it? It's Velvet. I think it's Velvet Smith. There's a ranger. There's a ranger whose thing is that they can be like 1 second while I Iron Man nanomachine my weapons into being bigger laser versions of my weapons. So yes, the answer is yes. There's
there you go.
That'll when we do more stuff, and in future when we do campaigns in the Zegalta timeline, which is I guess what I'm going to start calling it. I'm looking forward to there being a lot more tech stuff, because that's going to be a lot more like fucking sci-fi JRPG stuff in the future. Which, I don't know, maybe Justice. I've very much enjoyed having you around. You'll definitely be on the list if we do future campaigns. I'll be like, yo, do you want to keep getting paid to play D&D?
Hey man, it's fun. It's an enjoyable time.
Heck, because after we're done the interim games, I have plans. I want to do some other stuff, and I have a short list of people that I'd like to do more stuff with, and you're still on the short list. I very much enjoyed that. Just going to say that. I've really liked having you on Nat 19. I've loved your energy. You've been very fun to have around. It's the first campaign we had you in, and we didn't know how much D&D stuff you did before. I very much think that when we started, you were very like, your experience with D&D had been that you played with people who'd like only kind of dipped their toes into the roleplay side. And when I heard that, I was like, I'm so confident. I was like, that's not gonna be a problem with that 19. I don't think. Heckin'.
I didn't expect it not to be a problem. It's more so I want people who know what the frick they're doing and don't break. All right, like be a character, be that character. Break when you need to break, but don't.
Yeah, I absolutely get what you mean.
You know.
Yeah, I have a table I play with at home, which if any of you are watching, I love you very much. But they're all like newer players, and we play like just at the table here at my house, and it's kind of more of a traditional like beer and chips sort of D&D situation of having fun. Yeah. And most of the people that play that, it's kind of them through the mask of a character, right? But that's like a private having fun game that it's I think more fun to do that in, and I just turn off the roleplay part of my brain a little bit when I'm playing with them. That said, all those players after our last campaign that I with another GM also kind of came to me and they're like, I want to be more in than we were in that game. And I was like, good. That's a good hunger. Have that hunger. Want to be more in the role that you're playing. But yeah, I figured that that Nat 19 would be a good environment for you to be able to not have to worry too much about that, I guess. And I'm confident that we've delivered on that. But yeah, no. Sidebar. It's been so fun having you in it.
I've definitely had so much fun. It's super great.
Good. I would not be shocked if by the end of the campaign we were all trying to make moves to do a Hayden and trying to keep you.
Oh, I've already been thinking about that. In my brain, Segi's just kind of part of like the core.
In everybody else's brains too. Like Braden's in the same way of like, oh yeah, no, you're already a part of this. You can't leave.
You can't leave. No, I feel like how Logan felt after my first vestige session, where it's like, no, You stay here now. You don't leave. You stay here now. We like you. You stay.
You live here. No, it's fine. Close his door. This is where you belong. You shouldn't be anywhere. Put padlock on door. It's where you. Look, it's good for you. Everyone here loves you. Beep beep beep.
I want to go.
Stay.
What happened to that? I was
rattling of chains.
No, you stay.
No, you
live here
stay.
now.
Mm-hmm.
You're core cast now. You
We'll cross that bridge when the time comes.
No, he stays, Logan.
Oh, apparently we're crossing that bridge now.
See what happened? Like, this is the same thing that's happening. See? The peer pressure is crazy out here. The peer pressure is crazy.
Yeah. You stay, Saggy.
All right.
That's right. That's fucking right.
As far as I'm concerned, it's your choice. It's not my fault if everyone
That's
else in
what
the
I'm
cast kind of piles on top of you.
I'll choose when I want to, okay?
Maybe I told them to get you. It's irrelevant. You don't know.
You don't know anything. You don't know a damn thing, okay?
What's our next?
I
So
got a
next
question for
hit.
you, Logan.
Oh, it's for me.
It's for you. Ba-ba-ba-bum.
Hit me. Do it.
Hey, I don't have that number, so I'm gonna roll again. Oh, we've already asked that question, so blah, blah,
You know,
blah.
Hayden,
What?
personal opinion. I do like the sound of click-clack dice. I don't know if you feel the same way. The D4 has the least satisfying click-clack noises of all the dice.
This is the D4 is that I was rolling the D6,
Yeah.
which is a lot more aggressive because these are also my metal dice.
D4s just kind of like they don't really like clatter around, you know?
No, it's not the same. Although when you bring them all together, it is so satisfying because they're jingly.
Oh yeah, I think
Like
the
jingling keys.
D12 has my favorite like clacking because like it moves a lot, but it's like more tactile than a D20.
Yeah, I know what
That
you
was the
mean.
question. It was right. It was going to be about
absolutely.
which dice
the
sound the
question
best.
wasn't that now that we know through the setting guide that Moran is a feathered brass dragon. This is news to me. I haven't fully read the setting guide. I'm really good at my job. Has he ever made offers as a warlock patron? Anyone of particular note?
To date, I reserve the right to revise history as I see fit. If somebody comes to me and they're like, can I retroactively have been a warlock of them with my new character I'm playing in the far past game that you're doing in this scenario, Logan, I'll probably be like, sure, that sounds neat. But currently, I am not aware of any warlocks that he has made pacts with. And the only reason I say that with any kind of certainty is because Moran is kind of he's at a very specific way of living since the Age of Sundrance. Due to the fact that he's a feathered dragon, which is I'll mostly skip the explanation for what they are, but basically back when the world got apocalypsed, a bunch of dragons evolved into a unique type of dragon called feathered dragon due to radiation from the giant world-ending comet that hit. And they were instrumental in returning magic to the world. But so they've kind of been around micromanaging things in the background more than dragons normally do. They've been sort of like hanging around being like, yeah, no, this is my area and I take care of it, or I torment it in private, whichever. And Moran has been largely on the side of trying to like manage people. Like he considers culture to be like a currency, and he enjoys it when culture flourishes, which is why, as you guys do know about his history in Summergrass, he showed up as a politician when there was basically a tyrant ruling it, and he ran against them, beat them, and then took over the city, got it to a place he thought was good, and then he was like, okay, I'm retiring now. Because he wanted Summergrass to like flourish, because it was in a bit of an age of disparity before he got there. But he's not really... He's more of a political entity than he is like a supernatural entity in his mind. So he doesn't tend to handle things by being like, I've amassed like arcane powers / whatnot. He's more, I have a secret dark unit that exists under the city that I deploy when I need to. Like as you saw, Hayden, because you were in Vestige, he like tends to take people that no one would notice if they disappeared, and if they've got talent, he's like, cool, I own you now a little bit, and you're part of like my underground strike unit. If I need something done politically, you're basically my assassins. Like, I don't want to glorify or condemn anything, but he's sort of like a perpetual terrorist that sort of exists politically under the city, who's like, I'm not going to tell you how to live, but if someone's in charge and I think they're bad news, a small army of dark elves and Hanzo will show up at their home. And they might go away. I think I've talked about it kind of before, but if the election had truly gone badly, and if like Murkwire had ended up in charge, back when he was being puppeteered by the family, there is a non-zero chance that Morian may have made Murkwire disappear. Because he likes handling things politically until that fails, and then he's very like, I'll do whatever I have to, whatever. Oh no. If they figure out I'm a dragon in the government, that I just do I have to disappear? I'll disappear for 200 years and come back in a new disguise and try again to make things better. Uh-oh. I've only been alive for like 30,000 years. What an inconvenience. But to answer the question, to circle back around, as far as I'm aware, he doesn't have any warlock people. He doesn't have any warlock pacts made. But maybe he does. Maybe I just don't know about them.
Maybe it'll come up eventually. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe somebody in the next campaign will be like, I want to be a Pact of the Feathered Dragon Warlock. And I'll be like, oh, that's neat. And they'll be like, I want it to be Lord Morian. I'll be like, okay, let's figure that out. I guess that happened.
I can't believe you're telling me what happened to Raleigh.
Yeah. Oh, we got plans for Raleigh.
I'm very excited.
We got neat plans for Raleigh that I think are very fitting due to the end of the last campaign.
Oh man, I love that I play a character who's already made up her mind about him.
Yep. You haven't even met him. You're gonna meet him and just be like, heckin'. He's like turned over a new leaf entirely, and you're looking for things. He's like super nice now, and you're just everything he does. Like he's making dinner for everybody, and you see him like put the salt in a weird place, and you're like, I fucking knew it.
Oh yeah.
He's trying to steal
that you know
our
exactly
seasonings.
where my character's brain is at. Like, no, I don't trust him. I've decided.
You like see him. He goes to the kitchen. He's like, I'm gonna get a drink. Be right back. He goes to like a kitchen. And you're like, he didn't take any potions with him, right? Because like, you guys say he does that, right? He waters them down, right? So he's not like going to the kitchen to like water down, right? He's not doing that. And everyone's like, it's just more of a joke, Aviana. It's like, what? I don't. But he doesn't. So he doesn't do it, right?
No, but what he does. He has to. You guys are fucking stupid. He does it.
He does it. What if we joked about it, but in actuality, he does do it? What if art imitates fiction imitates life? Art, you know, what if he does?
It's like, I'll find a way to make sure that he does it.
I don't remember the saying at the moment, but you know what I'm saying. No,
like, I'm just gonna kill him. I'm just gonna get it over with.
But yeah, Lord Morian prefers to handle his affairs weirdly more like a politician than like a supernatural entity. By that I mean like a kind of politician that has a Suicide Squad style task squad going on underneath the city. So it's really fun to me that the guide revealed that he was a feathered dragon, because there are certain things that happened. Like when you guys got... Sorry, Justice, I'm going to talk about stuff you can't really interact with.
Oh, you're good.
When So, feathered dragons are basically little idolic energy reactors, but everything that happened in Summergrass with the crystallization, like the sphere and everything, that'll happen long before you guys knew about idolic energy or whatnot. Yeah. The reason why Morian was he was able to focus it on him and like get himself trapped in like a big crystal in the center of it and slow it down is because he's a feathered dragon and he's unusual, and he basically made it take extra time to try to process him because he was this unique entity. like that only could happen because he was a feather dragon. That was one of those things that back in the day I was sitting there being like, I'm not even going to try to explain it. You guys don't know the context of idolic radiation. You don't know, like, you wouldn't know what it is. You guys haven't been introduced to feathered dragons. I was like, yeah, no, he's just, you could assume that because he's an ancient dragon, he's got more magic. And I hand waved it with that. But like, if people were to go back and like look at the stuff he does, I always tried to signal that he, even after it was revealed he was definitely a dragon, I tried to make it very clear that he was like a little bit strange beyond that. And that was one of the times where like he could slow down a god-eating engine because he was a feathered dragon and he processes the same energy that deities use to perform miracles and whatnot. A normal dragon wouldn't do that, even an ancient one.
That's so funny.
I like going back. I like thinking about and pointing out the small things where I was like, I didn't just pull idolic energy out of nowhere halfway through Honokuni. That was all like that was always underpinning everything. I like going back and pointing, like, see this thing that didn't make sense at the time? Yeah, I was just not telling you stuff. That's all. So there.
Oh, that shit always just makes me excited. Like, I love that shit.
You just didn't know that we were playing a different JRPG, that's all.
Here's your JRPG twist.
It was
we're
like
playing Vestige. This is where Vestige starts.
I've always seen the end of Honokuni when Gurgel Gagor's like, oh, it's idomantic radiation! And I was like, what are you talking about? I've always seen that as the Raditz showing up and going like, you're an alien, Goku.
Oh my god,
like, what do you fucking mean?
It's like, the fuck?
And then recontextualizing everything before it. Heckin'. But yeah, it is funny that the end of Honokuni is kind of where I'm like, yeah, it's sort of where Vestige as we know it, like Somnus Domina as we know it, really, as the fight with Hirohito is where it's kind of began. Oh, hiccups. I digress. I've taken a long time on the question.
No, it's all good. I love it.
That the short answer to which was no.
No. Yeah, but we yappy bitches, and that's what the
we
show's
are yappy
for.
Bitches. This also gives Justice more time to in the background play Marvel Rivals, I'm sure. So
I'm not even playing Marvel Rivals.
According to my, you got
it's
it
open in the background.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got it open.
I'm not even playing it. It's been open all day.
I believe you, but it's very funny to look at our Discord list and be
Just
like,
see
"Are you
Marvel
sure
Rivals.
about that?"
There have been times I think Brayden left Hades 2 open for like 3 days straight.
Yep.
I texted them. I was like,
Are you okay?
Red? Are you?
Right.
Have you stopped
good?
playing this game? And they text me back. They're like, thank you for telling me. I didn't realize it was open.
I'm gonna be real with you. The reason it's on is because it's better for my computer to be warming up my room because it's 12 degrees outside. So,
That's fair.
Baby.
That's fair.
Yippee!
That's so funny. So I'm riding my graphics card so my computer heats up.
hey, it's enough. The glass is off. Like unlimited frame rate. We're good.
What works.
He's got a question for Scarn.
Oh, good.
Now that you've been playing Scarn for a while, how do you feel he has grown, and is there anything that surprised you about him?
Yeah, it's definitely he's it's more of a let's rip out this former kid's entire idea of, you know, grandeur, basically. Not really like a growth kind of thing, but more of a you've realized this. Like growth in the way of like realizing that the world isn't the way you wanted it to be. Because originally my Scarn idea was like, oh, boy wants to go out because like boy's been in the pits. But he has a family and that family is very disciplined. We enjoy discipline and having people together. Everybody's like, we're all hospitality, and like maybe maybe it's been put on the table that maybe he'll take the family name and be the person that does it. I don't know, maybe. But no, I want to go out and do stuff. So the first time I go out and do stuff, oh, this is death. Oh, death and destruction. Oh, God, no. What? Huh?
It's like, oh, great. Everything's terrible. I love that for me.
And he can't even go back because going back is gone now. So now it's a lot of that kind of growth, like destruction of innocence in the heaviest of ways.
Oh, that's rough.
But he'll learn from it. He'll grow from it. In his own twisted, fucked up, I need to fix everything, but I won't be able to do that by myself eventual mindset.
God, I want to give him the biggest hug.
Everybody does.
Yay. Big Scarnicus. Heckin'. So something that comes up for me when I'm playing characters is usually like as you grow with them and you play them for a while, certain things kind of come up for them that you go, oh, I didn't know that was there for you. Has there ever been any moments like that with Scarn for you? Where you're like, oh, that's something I didn't think about when I was building you, but I guess that's coming up for you.
I don't want to say that I like planned everything or like anything like that, because I definitely didn't. But like nothing is truly like giving me the, oh, this is not where I was gonna go with this, but you know, it kind of worked out. I mean, the pure big handshake energy between Scarn and Lilia is like the best to me. I enjoy that of just like true besties out there working with each other, like to the point of like fighting, which is like the truest of friendships. I like that. I don't know.
I can't pull on that thread just because I'm curious now. How do you feel like from like episode 1 to like now? How do you feel like his relationship and friendship with Lilia has like developed over the campaign?
Well, episode 1 was more like, we've kind of worked together with each other through like BBTA stuff, but I feel like working together through the pits, doing like just, you know, back and forths, just talking to each other, me basically trying to set her up with Saun in the every possible way possible. I wanted it, but it didn't. But hey, I got close. I got close. But I think just that friendship kind of just bloomed, basically. It was more like, hey, we're kind of in the same position. We're kind of in the same idea. Yeah, let's become friends. We're cool with this. We're cool with each other. I like this.
Everything that I've heard between the two of them, it always tickles me. I was like, it feels like a very natural friendship. Like, it feels
got that
like
sibling energy.
Truly. It's like that besties who are basically sibling energy, and I like siblings, and I was like, I love that shit. So, like, y'all play it very well. You and Anna are very entertaining to listen to.
I was like thinking, is there anybody else in the pits of the same age? And like, truth be told, for what we see, no. Like, we're both the same age-ish. We've kind of not grown up in the same place. It's like someone who's gone to the same school as you for like the longest. You didn't talk to them at the school, but you've known they existed. And eventually, later in life, you start working at the same company. Like, we're kind of cool, gang.
Like, oh shit. You're a whole person.
You're not just that NPC in the background. Nice.
Yeah. I feel that. Oh yeah. Heckin', just because I'm curious, I always like knowing how player characters feel about their fellow party members. Heckin', what are some of like Scarn's current opinions about like his party now that they've grown together a lot more? You guys have learned a lot more about each other. Because when we had your first episode, it was all so very, very new. but so much has happened. Like, we've learned a lot about Lori and Lilia and all, like, Desmond and everyone and Pebs, heckin' Peebo out here, little secret Kitsadria baby. I always call her Peebo Butter. I know it's Pepper, but she's Peebo. What are Scarn's second opinions and feelings on his party members and their current situations? How's he feeling about Lori's mom and all that shit? Give me the tea. The tea.
All right, first off, starting off, Desmond. I disliked him at first.
Okay.
This is Scarn speaking. I disliked him at first. I didn't like the fact that he was too coppy. I realize now that copism comes from PTSD. I get it. I get it. All right, bro?
Big letter.
Be all the cop you need, man. Just know I'm gonna fight back. All right? Like, and that's the thing I like about him. He don't want me not to fight back. He'll turn his back if he realizes that the moral high ground is better than the legal high ground. All right? So I'm cool with Dez. That's my boy. Leader, big like tactician man. He's got to stop dying every 5 seconds. That's messed up.
Scarn,
Lori's
like,
gonna have a
kneeling
freaking
down
heart
into
attack.
Frame. Big tactician man. Cut Scarn sideways on the ground, making like big arm motions. Big man.
Big man. For Lori, that's my boy. That's my son. Not really like my little brother, but like that's my son. All right, Lori. Scarn will never say it out loud to him because he wants that boy to grow up strong, but that is the most protected boy in the world right now. All right. I don't give a fuck. That boy is staying alive and he's staying loved by all of us. You got 5 different dads right now. Everyone's a dad now, okay? You got 5 different dads and an uncle. Sound counts. He's there. So we're chilling. I love him. His mom. I'm very much in the idea of like this kid is some kind of regal, royal, emperor, some kind of son with some shit that's going down. I don't want answers, God. So like, definitely realizing that this kid has hidden shit in the background, and I'm not supposed to ask questions, but if he ever needs me to be a talking post, I'm right here, ears open, mouth closed type shit. Everything he needs, he has. That's my son. Pepper. I knew that little fox had something different with her. I knew it. Too closed up speaking about things, and I knew she had something going on in there. I was just figuring it out and waiting until she figured it out. I knew she was going to let us know. We're too cool. We're too cool for her not to get that stuff out, and she wanted to let us know like 5 months ago. So we love that. The fact that she thinks she's a failure, shut up, you weirdo animal person. You are one of the chorus groups of us. Don't think you're a failure. Stop that. Lilia, that's my bestie right there. That's my bestie right there. I'm so pissed off that date got messed up because I set that up. I don't want to say I was the one and only, but I was in there. I was making it sure. All right. I was like, hey, Lilia, get your mans. All right. I don't know about this story because I wasn't there. I didn't know about this story. Everybody's got a tragic backstory, and her prince is right there. So I wanted that connection. I'm very mad that my girl didn't get her mans. Eventually we'll make it happen. I don't care if he thinks he's the freaking harbinger of death and destruction and evil and chaos. I don't care. You could be harbinging this girl. All right. And
Wingman Scarn gives me so much life.
Top 10 things I never expected to hear said pointed at Samurai.
The moment I saw his design, I'm like, if this motherfucker isn't Samurai, I'm a shit. And I was right!
Anyway. And Desmond, Lilia.
Yeah, I think you got him.
That's it.
What does he think about Scarn? What does Scarn think about Scarn? That's the most
Scarn.
important thing.
We don't want to know that right now. All right.
You know what?
It's a little chaotic up in that Scarn brain. All right. Like currently, before it was a lot of protection. Everybody's got to be together. All right. I'll keep calm. Everybody's got to get. Dad's gone. All right. We got to make sure he's alive though. He's strong. And then death. And then you don't know it yet, but it's broken. It's like, gone.
Oh, buddy.
It's
One of those like, hey, you good? You know what? That's a stupid question. I have bourbon. You want bourbon?
Takes the entire cask, drinks the entire thing, throws it. I'm still sober.
Oh,
jeez. Some more, Betty. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. We got time for one more question. It's gonna be for Logan.
It's for me.
Logan.
I hear Liru crying, and I
right.
know she's just sitting downstairs crying about.
I've rambled today, so I'll try to be as succinct as possible for this question.
Oh, I was rambling too. Don't even.
No, we rambly bitches. That's what the show is
Here I
for.
go. Watch. Whatever
All
the
right.
question is, watch. I'm going to answer it in one word.
Oh, I'm so sure you can answer this in one word. I can't wait to see you try. Since Gotham and Tesca Arctica are both gods of undeath.
Incorrect.
Okay, well, great. Cool. Answered that question. Moving on. Hey, I just read the questions. I plunk them in a document and I read them out to you.
Now that I've answered the
sweet.
question in one word, allow me the follow-up. Please finish the question.
Cool. Great. Hey, you did the thing you set out to do, and I'm proud of you. What, if any, connection do they have to each other? I assume none.
None.
Did one replace the other? I'm assuming not. Or
No.
do they happen to share the same domain?
Nope.
Okay, so I'm gonna sway off the question here.
Do you want me to elaborate on the misconception that I think led to that
Yes.
question?
Yes.
Okay. I've said this a lot before. The Grand Primaries, which is what Tesca Arctica is, are not gods. They're not divine. They have what are called primeval orders. They don't have domains. They have what are called primeval orders. It's not that they have power over the things that they have, like in Tesca Arctica, it's entropy and undeath. It's not that they have sway over those things, it's that they are the materialized existence of those forces in the universe. They are like an intangible idea that has taken physical shape. They are these apocalyptic things that represented facets of reality. They're more like elemental beings, although in the context of D&D, that I don't mean the creature type. I mean, like, they are as difficult to understand as like Lovecraftian gods should be. They don't exist in a way that is easily quantifiable. Gotham and Tesca Arctica have no relationship because Gotham is a lesser god who became a deity because they gained sway over the domains of, among others, undeath, and they established a divine realm, which made them immortal and gave them an afterlife to have sway over, and that made them a god. They are divine. Their stuff is represented through the system of divinity, as set out in Somnus Domina. Tesca Arctica, the giant undead currently frozen in the far south evil centipede skeleton creature, it is an embodiment of entropy and a facet of reality. It is not a god. It is not divine. It does not hold an afterlife. It is just this thing that is the physical form of what others might misconstrue as its divine domains. The problem is that from the standpoint of a human, if you see a larger-than-life, otherworldly thing that controls undeath, you don't see it as, oh, you control undeath in that you literally are an embodiment of it, and you control
Mhm.
undeath in that you hold sway over it because you're like divine. You just see two things that are cosmic and control undeath. So from your perspective, those would both be gods, because what else would you call it? But from a cosmological point of view, the grand primaries are like way more dangerous than any gods are. Like, they are what erased the old gods and created the world as we know it through like apocalypsing it. So that's why my series of one word answers are they're both gods? Incorrect. Are they related? Did one replace the other? No, because one is still around, and also a god would not replace a grand primary. Are they related? No.
Did it. We got there.
Done. So there was a big footnote, but the one word answer to that question was incorrect.
Yeah. Hey, that's right.
I know that's like a thing that some of our viewers, especially because when people watch D&D streams, people are, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna go off on a tangent here.
Go for it. So last
People are
question,
people are very geared, and rightfully so, to when they watch D&D streams, thinking about gods and the cosmology kind of the same way that other Forgotten Realms things do, because most D&D settings, like most shows that run it in like a high fantasy setting, most of them do run in sort of a, this is how, like, the Forgotten Realms, the way that it works is sort of the basis of all of them. Even like Critical Role, even though it's like massive, like Exandria is massively different from like the realms, the way that gods work and divinity works is kind of fundamentally the same. So if you understand base D&D, you understand kind of how their gods work. Somnus Domina, I think, trips people up a lot because it's not the same. Like, the way that gods work and the way that there's different types of deities and the way magic works, it's all different, but it presents similarly as the end result. Like, the Adamantic Web and how magic comes to be and how gods come to be, it has a similar looking end result, but how they actually work, if you get into the nitty-gritty, is different. And I think the idea that the Grand Primaries, these universe-ending titans that appeared and wiped out the old world as it was, and were stopped by the beings that would become the gods of the new world, I think it's easy to look at them and be like, they're larger than life, they must be gods. They have control over reality, they must be gods. And it's like Mnemosyne, another one of them, as you know Mnemosyne.
Mm-hmm.
They're not a goddess of time. They are the embodiment of time. They are time. They is am weasel. Heckin'. But it's very, I get why people would look at them and be like, oh, they're a god of this thing, especially because in universe a bunch of them got renamed the primary gods. Again, that's because people in universe, peasants, people with no science who are just seeing these cosmic world altering things, would be like, that thing seems to control the sun, that's the god of the sun. Whereas heckin' Ophiuchus is here like, well, I kind of just am space, but go off, I guess. So, like, I get why that trips people up, but I will rally against it every time someone tries to be like, but they're a god. I will be like, the question is malformed. Read my book. I'm going to be a pretentious butthole and be like, it's different because I said it was. Go read my book.
I mean, it's your goddamn world. You can say it is whatever the fuck you whatever the fuck you want it to be.
I guess the main thing for me is like I want to politely skirt that line where it seems like I'm being a contrarian constantly, being like, that's not how it works, because I don't want to make it just seem like I want to disagree every time someone's like, well, isn't it this way? Isn't that the same as a god? And I'm like, no, I don't want to. My instinct isn't to. I want things to be understandable, but I also don't want to water down all the concepts that make our setting unique to the point where they are just a basic, like, ambiguous setting for the sake of being digestible. I would rather be a kind of stick in the mud butthole who's like, I wrote a book. There's 2 pages that if you read them, they explain this. There's a whole section on how gods come to be and such, and the primary gods and whatnot. They are different, and because they're different, they let this setting work in neat ways that other settings don't get to work in. So, like, I find it useful to have these distinctions, you know? Plus, there's a lot more cosmic horror to it, to be like, yeah, there's these 7 unkillable, not gods, just embodiments of the concepts in reality that the old gods, or that the new gods, they didn't even manage to kill them. All they could do is knock them to sleep. They're just sitting out there somewhere, comatose. And if one of them wakes up, that's a world-ending event. And, like, that's way more interesting than being, like, it's an evil god to me. Because, like, no offense to D&D, we've been down the it's an evil god path so many times in D&D. Tiamat Awakening has been the final encounter of so many people's campaigns. I think it's more interesting to have a pseudo hard to understand, like, no, it's beyond divinity sort of a concept out there, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Also, cosmic meteors filled the world with super potential magic, and then they built robots to fight them, then the robots got buried, and it's Final Fantasy, but also it's Gurren Lagann. What's so hard to understand about that?
It's like, that makes perfect sense and it's super clear.
You haven't even had to interact with that, Justice, because it's in the past. There's giant super robots just buried across the world from an ancient war among gods. They're
Sick.
out there.
Oh, nice. Dope. I'll search for one. No, I won't.
In a year in about a year and 3/4 in game, one of them's going to wake up and blow up the moon. It gets better. Don't worry. The moon fixes itself. But one's going to wake up and blow up the moon.
Guilty.
Yep.
There will be cracks in the sky, and that will act like TV
Like a giant-
screens
Yep.
across the world, and you'll see moon.
Yeah, it's very like Somnus Domina has this underpinning that is very like, if in Gurren Lagann, if the anti-spiral with their incredibly advanced tech had shown up at the start of Gurren Lagann, that's kind of how the world is. It's like, oh, it seems like it's this desolate high fantasy thing, but it's actually got this incredibly like technologically advanced underpinning that's just sort of hiding off in its corner.
Yep.
Where there's just a nation being like, we've built super robots, we're just waiting for the right time to let everybody know that. That's not the time, is all.
Like, we do have them, though.
We are building a space colony. Luckily, we're the only ones in space, so no one's noticed. Anyways, that's my. Sorry, I'll boil that back down again. Incorrect. Thanks for asking.
Great. Listen, I think we need reminders of when things are incorrect of the lore, because it's all new lore that people are learning. So you can tell them, no, that's wrong.
Yep.
Well, my beautiful, beautiful boys, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Why don't you go ahead and promote your fine selves? Let the teenies at home know where they can find you. We're going to start with Justice.
Hi. Yeah, you can find me on most platforms as SeigiVA, SEIGIVA. I'm mostly on Twitch. YouTube is defunct, but it's there if you want to look at videos from when I was practicing for voice acting. Yay. Other than that, you know, I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Twitter. I'm on yeah, that's about it.
Also, you've been heckin', I think they're neat every time I see them. You've been heckin' doing voice work for Mouthwashing.
Oh yeah, I've been that's funny because I didn't expect that to be taken that that largely, because I didn't know about mouthwashing before any of that. And then my friend was like, hey, you want to voice this funny video on the internet? And then people kept coming.
That's fucking awesome.
I think those videos are really fun. I think you guys
Oh, they're great. They're adorable.
Yeah. Heckin'. It's such an interesting way to engage the fan base of Mouthwashing, given the content of Mouthwashing.
It's like,
I
oh,
need to
okay,
actually
yeah.
play Mouthwashing. I know nothing about it other than a friend of mine is fucking obsessed with it.
To be clear, to set expectations, the stuff I'm talking about is not in the game because the characters aren't voiced in the game. But Justice has been doing a bunch of stuff with, I think it's hard to say the main guy for Mouthwashing because it's not
even. Yeah, it's mostly the devs just come at him and are like, hey, can you do some animations for us? And he's like, yeah.
They've been really good. I really liked the take of them all talking as actors who play their characters. That one was really fun. That idea that idea is always fun to me because you get to like see the characters sort of reference themselves.
Oh, that's really fun.
Yeah, so that's cool. I just wanted to signal boost that because I've been seeing that passed around and I'm just like, oh, that's such a neat thing for you.
It is definitely fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what about you, Laidlaw? Where can the
Watch-
teenies find you?
Watch Nat 19.
I mean,
That's
yes.
yeah.
I still there's a cartoon I'm one of the main antagonists of, and I've been saying this for 2 years, and it's still not out, and I'm waiting for it to come out. That'll be the thing. When that comes out, that'll be the thing. I'm like, go watch Redacted. Heck, and beyond that, people know where to find me. You can find my work on DriveThruRPG. If you search Logan Laidlaw on DriveThruRPG, you'll find all my stuff. If you go to nat19show.com, you can keep up with our stuff, keeping in mind that's 19 is in the numbers. You don't have to spell out 19. You can find me on the Project Mouthwash channel, in the work of Something Witty and Schmucks, and you can find me on the Nat19 channel, doing the Nat19 stuff. And you can find me here now, telling you that there's a difference between a grand primary and a god. And to go read a book.
Grand primaries are gods. Got it. Understood.
Pity about what's going to happen to Avi between campaigns.
No. She's been through enough.
She's about to be through nothing.
Hey, can
ever
you not?
Again.
Can you not? Can please.
And you can also,
around,
you can also find me under the same names as usual on Blue Sky and whatnot. Probably I don't post there much, but it's probably, better for your head to search for me there than Twitter.
Yeah, I'm moving over to Blue Sky pretty heavily.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, well, thank you so much, my boy. I suppose if you want to find more of me on the internet, you can find me, well, here, obviously, running this higgity heckin' show. You can find me in some of our other campaigns. If there's a sassy tweet, it's usually me. You can find me at HeyBellVoice on Blue Sky, as well as on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me as Scylla Aria, your resident non-binary fairy finey, as my VTuber. That's SYLLAARIA. You can find me on Twitch, TikTok ? Asterisk, Instagram, YouTube. You can also follow me, Scylla Aria Dice, on YouTube, where I've been posting some more dice making videos. I've been making a lot of Honkai Star Rail dice for no reason in particular. Yeah, you can find me here. It's a good time. And all the edited videos, I shout them out every time. All of the edits and uploads and all that stuff is done by our resident Eric Embleton, who is wonderful, and I appreciate his hard work. But if you want more Nat19, because of course you do, why wouldn't you? Remember, you can tune in Tuesdays. Today's Tuesday. For Star Clutch, which is our new Pathfinder 2nd Edition campaign, GM'd rather, by our wonderful Spencer Downs. It's myself, Eric, Cody, and Maddie playing through Star Clutch, and it's a good time. For Thursdays, we play Princes of the Apocalypse when the curse allows.
By the time this comes out, that might not be true anymore.
Yeah, exactly. The Patreon, the people on the Patreon will hear this, so that's
I was gonna say, I was gonna ask quickly, did we mention that change?
Not at the top of the episode. I'm gonna finish telling them what shows they can watch when, and doing my outro, and then we can tell them about the Patreon change.
Gotcha.
But yeah, for Thursdays until it's done, whenever the curse allows, we play Princes of the Apocalypse, and on Saturdays we have Gilligan's Grave. And if you're interested in our merchandise or you want to know more about our team, you can visit us on our website at nat19show.com. That is nat19show.com. So, we do have some changes coming to Wits and Crits, implemented as of now. So I will give Laidlaw the floor about that.
You caught me mid-stretch. Oh no. Okay. So basically, from this point onward, the Wits and Crits is going to be up on Patreon for a month before it goes up live on YouTube. So you people that are hearing this on YouTube, you will be hearing it in February. Those of you who are on Patreon, on the 1 second, I think I remember what tier it is, but I want to go check just so I'm absolutely clear about it. A boop-a-doom. For those of you who are... Which one is it? Did I not write down on these who it is? Wits and Crits Early Access, Wits and Crits Early Access, Early Access. Those of you who are at the Hero tier or higher, which is the $10 tier, you will hear the Wits and Crits episodes a month before everybody else will. So if you're hearing this on YouTube and you'd like to hear Wits and Crits, which happens monthly at this stage, if you'd like to hear these a month sooner, then please consider donating. We also on the Patreon turned on yearly donations. So if you want to pay for a full year all at once, you can do that. And there is a discount that comes with it if you do that as well. If you do that, I think it's like a 10% discount. So take advantage of that if you wish to. But yeah, so to summarize, these will be on Patreon for a month as an exclusive for the $10 and up tier. And then they will go on YouTube for free. And I said that like there was more, but that's it.
Yep. I will likely stream them the same way I did before, so then people can still tune in live on Twitch, because I know y'all enjoy hanging out in the chat and stuff. So when it is freed from Patreon, we will stream it on Twitch, and it'll go up immediately on YouTube as well. So you guys can get your Wits and Crits where you like it. But I do highly recommend checking us out on Patreon. We have a lot of really great rewards for all the tiers. You get access to art and a bunch of other stuff, so I highly recommend it.
You also get a say. We're making quarterly splash books. Every 3 months, we're making splash books all based around a theme with like subclasses, classes, spells, etc. and Somnus Domino to make sure the content keeps flowing. And those are largely publicly funded. You guys can like fund those as you have been doing in our streams. But if you are at the $100 tier, then you just get a free pick to get sent a survey to choose things that you want to be in them, circa what classes, races, etc. get more options. So if you want to, if that interests you, if having more say in what content we make is interesting to you, then please go check that out.
Yeah. And with that, thank you all so much for listening. And thank you, Logan, and thank you, Justice, for being part of this episode. We will see you all next time. The questionnaire is already up and ready for you. It will be Carrie Johnston and Anna Garcia. It's going to be a good time. Also, for those of you who are listening on the Patreon side, if you will be at TsukinoCon February 15th to the 18th, Anna and I will be there. Woo! We're guesting TsukinoCon, so you can come meet me. I will have Nat 19 prints. I'm probably gonna bring some for the ye old squeaky as well. So you can come meet us. We'll be at TsukinoCon. We'll be doing VTuber panels and doing some D&D stuff. I'll be playing D&D live with Dork Tales. I think it's on Sunday. So make sure you guys come see us and come hang out. It's gonna be a good time. It's such a great con. So if you will be there, let us know in the comments and on Patreon and all that good shit. And we will see you all next time. Bye-bye!
Goodbye!
Laters!